Hey, what's good everyone? I'm back at the hometown, the final table, about to play some 1-2 no limit poker. But alright, wish me luck.
I belong to you. I belong to you. Do just what you want.
Today, I go play the 1-2 no limit game at the final table. I buy in for the max, $400. I get my chips and head to the table. Starting off the session, I looked at King Queen of Hearts under the gun and raised it to $15. 4 players call, and we go 5 ways to a flop. The flop's a pretty good one. 7 King Jack with 2 clubs, and I have top pair. Action checks to me, and I bet $25. 3 players call, and we go 4 ways to a turn. I definitely don't like that many players calling. One of them for sure has a flush draw. The turn is the Queen of Clubs, which now gives me top 2 pair, but it does bring in the flush draw, and a couple straight draws as well. This time, the small blind leads out for $50, which is a pretty strong play leading out to 3 other players. I think he has a small flush, and just probably try and protect his hand. The big blind folds, and when action's on me, I decide to make this lay down. I mean, if he does have a flush or a straight, then I only have 4 outs on the river to improve to a full house. I don't think he's bluffing here. The player to my left also folds, and then the small blind takes down the pot. He never shows, so we'll never know, but moving on. Just 2 hands after, there's a $5 strat on the button, and I looked down at King Queen again. This time offsuit though. Hopefully this one plays a little bit better. I raised it to $16, and 3 players make the call. We go 4 ways to a flop, which is a pretty good one. I think so at least. 8, 8, 8, all offsuit. Well, they better be all offsuit, right? Or that would be pretty sus. I lead out for $25. With my pre-flop raise here, and now me leading out into everyone, this should look pretty strong, as I'm only trying to represent a pocket pair hand like pocket 10s, jacks, queens. I think you get it. Only 1 player calls, and we go heads up to a turn. The turn is the 4 hearts, and I lead out again, this time for $50, and he quickly makes the call again. Maybe he has a small pocket pair, or 2 overcards. The river is a 6 of hearts, which shouldn't change anything. Again, how I play this hand, I'm just trying to represent a big pocket pair, and I can't win with king high. So I rip it all in, and I have my opponent covered. Our stacks are pretty much the same, but my opponent snap folds, and I get this bluff through. Whew, thank goodness. This was about to be my fastest session ever if you would have made that call. I would have punted off most of my stack in less than 5 minutes. Sheesh. But I'm glad I got this bluff through. This next hand, I strat out $5 on the gun. 1 player calls, and then I look down at 4 or 5 offsuit. The big blind calls, and then when action's on me, I decide just to check, and we go 3 ways to a flop. The flop is 8 queen ace all offsuit, and I brick this one. Action checks to me, and I bet $5. Only 1 player calls, and we go heads up to a turn. The turn is the 8 of clubs. Action again checks to me, and I bet $15 this time, and he quickly makes the call again. The river is a 10 of clubs, and I absolutely have nothing, and I'm actually just playing the board. He checks it over to me again for a 3rd time, and it seems like he doesn't really have much here on this board. I mean, he checked it 3 times to me, right? I bet $50, try to make it look like a value bet, and my opponent thinks it over for a few seconds before making the fold. Hey, okay. I got another one through. Small one, but I'll take it. This next hand, I strat out $5 on the button. C2 then raises it to $15. The middle position calls, and then I looked in at 4-3 offsuit. For $10 more, why not? I'll defend my button, and we go 3 ways to a flop. The flop is not too bad. Queen 7-3 with 2 clubs, and I got bottom pair. C2 leads out for $13. The middle position folds, and then I quickly make the call. I mean, he could have a flush draw here, or a hand like ace king. The turn is the ace of hearts, so now if he was bluffing with ace king, he just got there. So hopefully he has a flush draw. Surprisingly though, he checks, which actually threw me off because if he did have a flush draw, or a hand like ace king, why check and slow down? So when action's on me, I check back being in position because I would hate to get check raised here. The river is the 4 diamonds, now giving me bottom 2 pair. He checks it over to me again. How I played this hand, I played it pretty passive, so I don't expect him to put me on a strong hand, and I've been bluffing the most already. So I do an overbet of $100, try to make it look like I missed my flush draw, and just trying to seal the pot. My opponent snap calls. I show my 2 pair, and we're good. And my opponent shows the ace of diamonds, and then mucks his other card. Whew. When people snap call, usually means they got it. So I'm glad to take down this pot. Okay, double board bomb pot time. The flop on the top board is Jack 3-9 all offsuit, and I flop top set. And the bottom board is Queen 4 queen with 2 diamonds, and I don't have much there. C3 leads out for $15, 1 player calls, and then I raise it up to 50. 4 players make the call, and we go 5 ways to a turn. The turn on the top board is the 9 of diamonds, now giving me a full house. The nice part about this board is that I have a 9 in my hand for a blocker, so I have the nuts on top. The turn on the bottom board is the 3 diamonds. C3 leads out again, this time for $100. The player to my right calls, and when action's on me, I decide to just make the flat call to hopefully reel in a couple more players behind me. I'm really only trying to take down half the pot here. And what do you know? Both players behind me make the call. Yes, let's go baby. 5 ways to a river, and the top board is the 7 of clubs, the bottom board is the 6 of hearts. I have half of this pot locked up. Better yet, C3 goes all in for $140, and then the player to my right calls $140. When action's on me, I rip it all in for $316. The player to my left snap calls for less, $77. And then seat 1 calls for less, and then the last action goes back to the player to my right, and he also makes the call. Oh my goodness. Wow, what a dream spot for me. I know I'm only getting half the board locked up, but still, I was not expecting everyone to go all in and call. This is crazy. I show my jacks, and we take down half the pot. I end up with a total of $902 after that. The player to my left shows Queen 3, C3 shows Queen 4 for a bigger full house, and then the player to my right shows an ace high flush on both boards. And then seat 1 mucks, so he doesn't show. So I'm not sure what he was calling with. But anyways, let's go baby! Alright, back to Hold'em. There's a $5 strat on the button, and I look down at Queen 10 offsuit. The player to my right calls, and I just make the call along with 3 other players, and we go 6 ways to a flop. But now looking back at it, I think my Queen 10 here was good enough to raise pre-flop, especially being out of position and so many players in. The flop is Ace Jack 4 with 2 clubs, not too bad. I need a king for a straight. When action checks to me, I bet out $10 and only the player to my right calls. We go heads over to the turn, which is a pretty good one. The 9 of clubs, now give me a flush draw and an up and down straight draw. Action again checks to me, and I bet $20 this time. He makes the call, and the river is a Jack of clubs, now give me a queen high flush. He checks again, and now I'm betting for value this time. I bet $50, and he quickly folds, and we take down the pot. Last interesting hand of night, and we play another double board bomb pot. Let's go baby! The flop on the top board is 3-9-4 with 2 spades, and I have a flush draw and a straight draw. The bottom board is Jack 8-8 all offsuit, and I don't have much on that one. Action checks all around, and then the turn on the top board is the king of spades, and the turn on the bottom board is the ace of spades. So now that means I have the nut flush on top with my queen high flush. The player to my right bets out $25, and I want to start building a pot because I don't expect to take down both of the boards. So I raise it to $75. 2 players make the call, and we go 3 ways to a river. The river on the top board is the Jack of spades, which doesn't change anything. The river on the bottom board is the 9 of hearts. C3 leads out for $100. The player to my right just makes a flat call, and when action's on me, since I have the top board locked up and I for sure get half the pot, I want to put max pressure on my opponents to try to get them off the chop, because I'm pretty sure I'm losing the bottom board. I have them both covered, so let's see if I can get them to fold. C3 makes the call for a total of $582. The player to my right shows Jack 8 for a small full house on the bottom board, and then ends up folding. Whew. Seat 3 shows the second nut flush with a 10 of spades and a smaller 2 pair on the bottom. Wow, so sick for him. Scoop, scoop, baby. Hey, let's go. If you've been watching my vlogs, these double board bomb pots have been no good to me. And I've been getting stacked on the river every time lately. So I'm glad to not be on the short end of the stick this session. But just like that, I'll rack up my chips and call it a night. Alright, just got done with the session. Crazy session tonight. I could not make a hand almost all night. I mean, I was just bluffing my way through most of the session. And then the very end of the night, I hit those 2 big double board bomb pots, which pretty much made all my money. So I'll definitely take it. It's crazy, double board bomb pots, they'll make you or break you. But I was in for the game for 400 and out for 2,000. So I was up 1,600. I'll definitely take it. But good win tonight, and thanks for watching, and see you on the river.